Welcome to Tech Talk with WSU Tech, where we dive into all things WSU Tech and we highlight the voices within our college community. I'm Dr. Sheree Utash, and today we have the honor of chatting with Doug Maury. Doug, welcome.
Thank you.
We always like to start off by you telling us who you are, introducing yourself, and talking about the role that you play at the college and how do you serve the mission of the college.
Doug Maury, I'm the Dean for General Education and Professional Studies, and I serve the mission of the college by helping to provide high-quality education, and general education's in all of our programs, or most all of our programs, and so we kind of have a hand in everything in all the programs. So
let's talk about the evolution of general education at WSU Tech. How did it come about? Why do we have it? Why is it important for a technical college to offer these courses?
Yeah, so general education is really, it expands people's knowledge and it makes them well-rounded. So it's important for any college to have a general education program. For a technical college, we teach things in general education that activate parts of the brain that maybe we don't use on a regular basis. And so math, we'll teach problem solving. A lot of our classes will teach critical thinking, and so it's not just the content that we're teaching; it's kind of what we're teaching, how they can process things, how they can think of things from a different perspective.
So what I should have asked you the very first is, tell everybody that's listening, what is general education and what is professional studies?
Sure. So general education are all of the classes that you might think of as just being very general. So like art appreciation, music appreciation, biology, math, English, humanities. There's like 31 course call numbers that end up under me. So, and then professional studies are things like our business program and accounting, criminal justice, and interior design, digital marketing, those programs.
Okay. All right, great. So we taught like everybody else did. We did a lot of 16-week general education classes. Mm-hmm. And a couple of years ago, we shifted back to something that was popular many years ago when I used to do this.
Yeah.
That was an 8-week class format. Mm-hmm. So tell me about what that shift was like and what impact have we seen since we took that shift? Talk about the challenges and the opportunities and the successes.
Yeah. Well, first of all, we wouldn't be WSU Tech if we weren't doing something that nobody else was doing. But there has been a shift from doing the 16-week to some schools are shifting back to 8 weeks. Really, it's about kind of how society is going. We need things that are shorter, quicker, and 16 weeks doesn't work for everybody. And 8 weeks doesn't work for everybody either, but it's a different way to do things. And when you do it right, it can be very beneficial. So some of the things that we've done are making sure that the content that we're teaching is relevant. So we don't teach things that are extra, that are unnecessary. We get right to the heart of the subject. What we found is that some students can only take one class in a semester. And when we do 8 weeks, now they can do 2. And so it helps them with persistence. It helps them to finish. It helps to keep them around. So those have been good things. The other thing we know is that when students hit about the 10-week mark of a course, they burn out and they're tired of it and they want something new. So if we end that early, then we don't hit that point of burnout and we're on to the next thing. So those have been positive. We've seen good numbers with retention rate. We've seen good numbers with completion. We've seen students that start the class, finish the class. So those are all positive things. And it's forced us to sort of look at our classes and say, what do we really need to teach? We've in a lot of classes, we've either eliminated or we've greatly reduced the number of exams, and we work on projects. Mm-hmm. We work on hands-on things that are relevant to students, to the subject. So those have all been good things that we've had to do to make this work, and it's still a work in progress.
So you oversee a great group of faculty that are in the trenches with you doing this. And how have they adapted to support students and, give a shout out to what's happening from that standpoint?
Yeah. So again, it's a work in progress. And one thing is we're learning each time we teach a class what worked and what didn't work, and we're making adjustments. And, hats off to all the faculty that do that work and are the ones that really have to execute this. So it's easy for me to stand back and say, well, make it 8 weeks. But they have to do it. And so they've done a great job of adapting. One of the things, we have 4 faculty commitments that we want our faculty to help students with. And the primary one is when they notice that a student is falling behind, especially in an 8-week class, we can't have that. And so when they see that students are falling behind, we want them to act quickly and get in touch with those students. Hey, you haven't come to class. Why haven't you come to class? Is there something going on? How can we help you? So it's just been kind of that push that hopefully those students need, is just the faculty being a lot more engaged. Everybody's kind of getting through it at some point in the 8 weeks where it gets really heavy and we just have to push through. And I think when faculty are doing that with students and they appreciate each other, it really turns into something great.
So have support services had to change in order to help students be successful?
Yeah. So again, we have great people in tutoring. We have great people in testing that have to help students out. And when students fall behind or they struggle with something, we need to get those interventions in earlier. And so we've done a lot. Tutoring has done a lot with being more invasive and noticing, hey, this is a class where students might struggle, and we want to be here for you. We're going to come to class on the first day and introduce ourselves, and we're going to watch you guys and make sure you're doing well. And if you're not, we're going to reach out and offer our services to you.
And so retention, completion have all improved.
Yes. So that's been great.
That's what I know.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about just kind of for those that may not completely understand this, what does it take from a general education standpoint, from the work that you oversee, for one of our technical education students to get their degree? And then what is Shocker Pathway?
Yeah, so we want to teach a lot of transferable skills to the students that are in other technical programs. So, we want them to understand assignments, deadlines, due dates, and really support where maybe they need math. Math is important in a certain area, and so we have 3 different math classes that students can take. So, that's one part of it is supporting all of those programs with courses that they may need. Shocker Pathway is a great resource for students to be able to come to WSU Tech, take classes, and be on a pathway to transfer to WSU and have their gen eds mostly completed or completely done, and then they can get into their major there. We're a good first stop.
And they can also get their Associate of Arts and their Associate of Science degree awarded at Wichita State.
Yes.
And there is a celebration for that now for our students that move through that.
Good.
And they get some kind of a celebration at the university for that, which I think is really cool.
Yeah.
Was it easy? And was the 8-week piece easy? And also, I think it's important to note that it just wasn't something we thought of and did. We researched it. We looked at models and that kind of thing. So you might talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. So
but why?
Yeah. So we did do a lot of research. We traveled to Odessa College in Texas. They're one of the more successful 8-week programs, and they have a leadership conference there we attended. And just kind of learned all the things that they do, but really about the 8-week, how do you structure it? Was it easy? I would love to say yes. In concept, it's really easy because we're just taking 16 and divide by 2, you get 8. So you just do twice as much work in half the time. The reality is students won't do that. Won't do twice the work in half the time. I don't like to do twice the work in half the time. But so what we've had to do is be smarter about it and say, okay, we have a module and we have 2 chapters that we're maybe going to cover in a module. How can we create one assignment that covers both of those we're sure that they're knowledgeable about this piece, but we don't have to bog them down with a lot of assignments. And that's been tough. And it's always tough when you tell somebody who's an expert in their area, hey, I need you to cut out the things that aren't important, because all of it's important to them.
Important. Yeah.
But they did have to look at that and say, we don't need this. They're going to get that in another class.
So more about the outcomes, the gen ed outcomes that we have across the state.
Yeah. So we looked at that standard and we said, what do we need to teach? What do students need to know to be successful in the next class? And that's what we focused on. And when you look at, let's take, psychology as one example. There's a lot of things that are pretty interesting in psychology that you would love to talk about. But general psychology is one class. And then they might take developmental psychology and abnormal psychology. So there's all these other areas where they're going to get some of this material. Mm-hmm. We need to teach them how to be successful in those next courses and not necessarily everything that we can possibly teach them.
So how do you and your team approach, because I know we have students that may have not been successful in another institution at another point in time in their lives. How do you and your team support students that are coming in for maybe their second, third, fourth try?
Yeah. Recognition of that is key, and understanding that we are taking in students that maybe have been discarded by other places and not treated as the student that they can be. So that's understanding that we're going to have students that the first barrier we throw up at them, they might quit. So how do we not throw up a barrier? How do we lower barriers for students? How do we make sure that they're going to be successful, from day one? And really, it's part of it goes back to those 4 commitments. It's making sure that as we see students that are struggling or candidates for struggling, that we're following up with them. We're making sure that they're coming to class. I truly believe that, the key to success in really life is show up, do what you're asked to do, make an attempt at everything that you do, make an attempt to be successful at everything that you do, and you'll be fine. Mm-hmm. And so we have our faculty focusing on those kinds of things, and give grace when needed, and understand that, if you have a student that's struggling with life, we ask in our interviews with faculty, before we hire, we ask them, so what would you do if a student missed an exam because they had a death in the family, or they got called into work and they can't use their phone when they're at work? How would you handle that, so that we know kind of where they sit in those areas and how they might treat a student, and making sure that it's not an elimination of, you can't be a candidate if you don't give the right answer, but just understanding where they are and maybe how we can coach them up and tell them this is how we want things done here, and just love the students for everything that they are and everything that they aren't, and help them get the skills to make them successful.
Yeah, I really appreciate that approach. Grace is a big thing these days, and that we try to make students successful. We don't. They have to earn it. Yes. We don't give it to them, but we do everything we can in order for them to be able to earn it and be successful.
Yeah. And teaching them things like accountability, and that's very important. And when you give grace, grace is never earned; it's given. And so, not expecting, I don't think you deserve it. Well, it's not about deserving. It's about who needs it the most. Mm-hmm. And then again, just but holding them accountable. And too much grace doesn't get them to understand.
Right. It's a balance.
Yeah. And it's a tough balance.
And you guys see that every day. And I know as deans, you see that multiple times a day, I'm sure.
We do.
Tell us about a feel-good story that you have with a student that you've encountered. And you've been at the college how many years?
Well, I'm starting my 4th year as dean.
4th year.
Yeah.
Okay. And you were here before that in a role during COVID.
Yes.
Yes, yeah. I remember. Okay, so tell me about a feel-good story or something that's really impacted you personally.
I'll share a story, but I would say it's not always necessarily about one story. It's the ability to take something that we do and repeat it. Mm-hmm. And so all those instances where we can provide a student with an opportunity that they didn't know they were going to get, or that they didn't see happening for them, and then just being able to do that again and again and again. But I would say that I sit on the SAP appeals for financial aid, and we get a lot of stories. And some of those are real easy to see through, and some of them really tug at you. And there was one in particular where a student was appealing their suspension, and they owned it. They said, I had a lot of failures. I didn't do things right. But their story kind of resonated with me, where they had family problems, and they said, I'm on top of them now. And they didn't say, I'm going to be on top of them, I'm going to do this. They showed proof. No, I've actually done this. I'm in a better place. And my performance is showing that I'm in a better place. And when you see that, when you see students that there was just sort of this relief that he had, that I'm okay now, I'm doing better. And so that one kind of sticks with me, that, we're making a difference, and students are realizing that, and they're doing better, and we're responsible for that.
It's kind of a joy, isn't it?
It is.
A bucket
It's
filler.
a bucket filler.
It's a heart filler. Yeah. What could WSU Tech and the broader community do to better support you and your team?
Well, we have our hands in nearly every program, like I said, and I have a great working relationship with all of the deans, and I think we do support each other very well. And it's always a give and take. Manufacturing, I need this class, and I know it's inconvenient for you, but we really need it for this group of students, and just our ability to help them out and adjust and adapt to what they need. And they do the same, and they realize when they're asking us for something that maybe is too far out of of the realm of what we can do. But I think we already do that. We work together quite well, and we support each other, and we do great things with each other. And I think getting the word out of what we have, general education, there are a lot more classes that we have here than I thought we did when I started. And, just getting people to understand, oh, we have that class. You can take that here. And we have it in a convenient format for you. Face-to-face and online. We have 8-week. We have all these different options: morning, evening, night classes. And so just getting that word out to people to come and see what we have for them.
So after 4 years of being a dean, what's the secret sauce at WSU Tech?
Every year I look at our enrollment numbers, I'm like, it can't possibly keep up. Like we're gonna plateau or drop off at some point, and it just hasn't. And I think it's the people that are innovative, and it's the people that just, that doesn't work, is not something that we like to hear. And we just try new things, and it's failing forward, figuring out, well, that didn't work, so I think we need to do something different. But there's just that freedom of shifting, and the only consistent thing is change, and we do that quite well. So I think that's what we're successful at.
Thank you so much for being on Tech Talk today.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to Tech Talk with WSU Tech. Be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. And until next time, stay connected and keep exploring the incredible work happening here at WSU Tech. Thank you, Doug.
Thank you.